Sure. Here's Section 1. The misguided invasion with a minimum of 700 words. Hashtag Section 1. The misguided invasion. The Korthari were not known for making mistakes. A spacefaring species with millennia of successful planetary conquests, they prided themselves on their meticulous intelligence gathering and careful planning. Before any invasion, their analysts would study planetary broadcasts, social patterns, and power structures. It was standard procedure. But Earth was different. The reports were troubling, to say the least. Planetary broadcast analysis revealed humans engaged in near-constant warfare. Explosions were frequent, cities often decimated, and combatants wielded everything from automatic weapons to energy blades. There were individuals capable of flying, summoning lightning, and surviving direct missile strikes. Worse, there seemed to be no centralized leadership. Instead, rule appeared to be dictated by a rotating cast of warlords, names like Rambo, Wick, Maximus, Skywalker, and Naruto. The Korthari Command Council reviewed hours of intercepted footage from a source called Netflix. What they saw confirmed their worst fears. Earthlings were volatile, emotionally driven, and apparently immortal in some cases. One analyst insisted Earth was ruled by a deity known as Chuck Norris, who could stop time and punch through dimensions. Despite their fear, the Korthari decided they had to act. If Earthlings ever united, the Council reasoned, they would become an existential threat to the galaxy. Thus, Infiltration Team 47 Beta was formed. 4 of their most elite scouts, Zaire, Kron, Hollick, and Commander Verish, were dispatched to make first contact and assess the real-world power of Earth's rulers. Their orders were to infiltrate quietly, observe, and extract if danger levels exceeded expectations. The mothership waited in orbit behind the moon, cloaked, ready to fire if needed. The team descended over a flat patch of green land somewhere on a North American continent, landing in the middle of a field that contained several large, slow-moving quadrupeds, cows. The creatures fled lazily as the shuttle touched down, steam hissing from its seams. Weapons drawn, the team advanced toward the nearest structure, a simple home surrounded by open space, some metallic machines, cars, and smoke rising from a grilling station. A human male stood at the barbecue wearing cargo shorts, a best dad ever, apron, and holding a pair of tongs. His wife and 2 children sat nearby, sipping sodas and swatting at flies. "Commander," Zaire whispered. "Visual scan confirms. Earthlings are preparing for war." Verish narrowed his eyes. "Are those sacrificial meats?" "I believe so. The fire ritual must be a pre-battle preparation. Also, note the masks and capes in the small humans. Symbolic battle attire." The children were wearing superhero costumes. The team stormed forward, weapons raised. "Take U.S. tier leader." Verish barked in broken English, his translator just barely managing the phrase. The family froze. The dad blinked. Karen? I think those Halloween kids are back. Real committed this time. We demand audience with the alpha human known as John Wick. John Wick? Isn't that Keanu Reeves? The mom asked, confused. We have seen the chronicles, Kron added. He slew hundreds when his canine companion was harmed. Truly, he is Earth's apex. The dad stared for a moment, then did what most people in his situation might do. He laughed. Y'all are serious? Oh my god. Wait. You think movies are real? The aliens didn't appreciate his tone. Verish leaned in. You dare mock the legends? We have seen the records of your fast and furious chariot combat. Your intergalactic alliances with Avengers. Even your simulation programs where civilians practice war, like Call of Duty and Fortnite. Do not lie. As if on cue, a teenager came around the corner holding a controller and a headset. Yo. Dad, the Wi-Fi dropped. Wait, are those aliens?
Cool.
Can I stream this? The situation rapidly devolved from confusion to chaos. The aliens began taking cover, assuming the live stream was part of a planetary alert system. When the dog barked, Zaire threw himself behind a shrub, yelling, "It's a tracker beast." The family, amused but increasingly concerned, called the local sheriff. When the squad arrived 20 minutes later, Versh's team had fortified their shuttle and were scanning TikToks for updated battle formations. They believed they'd stumbled onto the front line of Earth's defense grid. The sheriff, an ex-military man with a thick mustache and a level head, approached cautiously. "Evenin'. You boys from NASA?" "We are from the Korthari Dominion," Verish declared proudly. "We have come to determine whether Earth is ready for conquest or will destroy itself before we need to intervene." The sheriff took off his hat and rubbed his forehead. "Well, fellas, you've definitely come to the wrong place for answers. Let me know if you want to continue to Section 2. Absolutely. Here's Section 2, Human Hospitality and Alien Panic, with at least 700 words. Hashtag Section 2, Human Hospitality and Alien Panic. By the time the Korthari strike team agreed to lower their weapons, the small town of Glen Cove, Nebraska had become a spectacle of interstellar misunderstanding. Sheriff Dan Riggs, now designated Earth's emergency diplomatic representative by the utterly confused aliens, had somehow negotiated a truce using a combination of iced tea, slow words, and a promise to introduce them to the local ruling council, which, to be clear, was just the town council. The Korthari had accepted the terms under the impression they were entering the heart of a major strategic capital. As their shuttle was towed, very slowly, behind a tractor into town, Verish and his team observed the locals with a mix of awe and dread. Children raced past on scooters, a group of teenagers blasted rap music from an old pickup, and someone had set up a bounce house near a church for a community event. "I believe the large inflatable structure is some sort of kinetic training device," Hollick said, taking notes. "Or a defensive structure to protect younglings from blunt force trauma," Zaire added. "It's likely multifunctional," Kron concluded. Earth structures often seem to serve simultaneous entertainment and combat readiness purposes. The aliens were brought to Glen Cove's community center, a brick building adorned with a banner that read, "Welcome, intergalactic friends." Or enemies? A well-meaning but extremely confused receptionist greeted them with hot cocoa and donuts. This must be a peace offering," Verish murmured. "They use circular pastries as currency of honor." Soon after, a barbecue was organized in the town square. Sheriff Riggs figured it might ease tensions. In typical small-town fashion, folks started bringing pies, folding chairs, and Bluetooth speakers. But to the Korthari, the event looked like a pre-war ceremonial gathering. As meat sizzled and humans laughed freely, Verish whispered to his crew, "They prepare their bodies for combat. Note the ingestion of proteins and sugars. They are conditioning." Zaire nudged him. "Observe the smoke patterns from their fire pits. It mimics low-atmosphere signal flares. This could be a coded warning to other tribes." Then came the fireworks. Riggs, thinking it would be a nice touch, arranged a modest fireworks show with the help of the local high school's science teacher and an old batch of 4th of July leftovers. The moment the sky lit up in reds and greens, the aliens dropped into a full combat crouch. "The sky is exploding," Kron shrieked. "It's an aerial threat demonstration," Verish shouted, drawing his weapon before Riggs calmly patted him on the shoulder and offered a marshmallow on a stick. That's when everything changed. A local teen, oblivious to the tense diplomatic scene, approached the aliens in full Mandalorian cosplay and offered them a Mountain Dew. Kron scanned him rapidly. "We are being offered stimulant-enhancing liquids from a warrior monk." "No," Verish growled, eyes narrowing. "This is a message. A challenge, perhaps. Earth's warriors are showing us their battle armor. They want us to know we are being watched." Meanwhile, Zaire had discovered cable television. As they waited for their next tribal meeting, the aliens took shelter inside the community center and tuned into a series of broadcasts, a mixed martial arts tournament, a political debate, a reality show about tattoo artists, and a live-streamed cosplay contest from a nearby convention. The results were catastrophic. "We've confirmed it," Zaire said, pale with fear. "Earth's leaders are chosen by physical combat, facial ink rituals, and elaborate costuming. Their ruling factions are at war over clothing design, cuisine, and who can sing better, while being insulted by a man named Simon. I saw a female who eats 30 hot dogs in 10 minutes. She is clearly a high priestess of consumption. What about the one called Gordon Ramsay? Hollick whispered. He controls vast feeding compounds and belittles lesser chefs. A true general. I saw a man consume 12 energy drinks, shout conspiracy theories, then climb a billboard. He must be a prophet, Kron added. The team's psychological cohesion began to fracture. They were surrounded by what appeared to be a deeply chaotic, war-ready, and bizarrely joyous society. No one seemed to follow orders, yet everything functioned. People debated publicly, disrespected their own leaders, and still shared food with total strangers. It's beautiful, Zaire said at one point, quietly, watching an elderly couple dance under fairy lights strung across the square. It's madness, Verish corrected. But Hollick was starting to question. Commander, what if this is order? Their strength comes from their unpredictability. Their chaos is intentional. That night, the Korthari sat in their shuttle, watching a live stream of a red versus blue paintball match. To them, it was proof of an ongoing civil war between elite, color-coded factions. I vote extraction, Kron said firmly. These humans are insane. No, Verish muttered, eyes glowing softly. They are dangerous. And they are performing normalcy for us. This is all a ruse. We must dig deeper. The team unanimously agreed to stay for now. But none of them noticed that a few humans were starting to catch on. A professor in linguistics had just started decoding Korthari transmissions. A Reddit thread titled Asterisk, so, aliens think John Wick is real? Asterisk had gone viral. Earth was waking up to the fact that someone, asterisk somewhere out there asterisk, was watching. And they were getting it hilariously, dangerously wrong. Let me know when you're ready for Section 3, Humanity Finds Out. Absolutely. Here's Section 3, Humanity Finds Out, with a minimum of 700 words. Hashtag Section 3, Humanity Finds Out. Back at Glen Cove's Community Center, the Korthari strike team had unknowingly become local celebrities. News had spread like wildfire. Aliens had landed in Nebraska, and for some reason, they were absolutely terrified of comic books, reality TV, and teenagers in cosplay. The local government tried to keep things quiet, but nothing escapes the internet. TikToks of Verish panicking during fireworks had gone viral. One clip of Zaire examining a Pop-Tart like it was alien tech hit 10 million views by morning. Meanwhile, a quiet breakthrough was happening in the background. Dr. Mia Alvarez, a linguistics professor at the University of Iowa, had been watching the alien broadcasts through intercepted signals provided, somewhat illegally, by an amateur radio enthusiast named Pete Hamhead Malloy. Mia was fluent in 8 languages and passable in 3 more, but alien syntax was new territory. Still, she was making progress. The Korthari used a complex mixture of tonal vibration and conceptual emotive signaling, something between a dialect and interpretive dance for the brain. But by the 3rd day, she had cracked enough of their lexicon to piece together a rough translation. And the moment she understood what the aliens thought about Earth, she nearly fell out of her chair. According to them, humans were a superspecies bred for war, governed by charismatic demigods, and constantly engaged in battles over territory, honor, and something called tiktokang. Mia stared at the screen in disbelief as one alien report translated roughly to, the dominant male appears to be a dark-haired assassin named Wick, who operates without remorse and commands a legion of fierce hounds. His vengeance is legend. He is the humans' deterrent force. Another read. We suspect global conflicts are orchestrated by elite singing factions called idols, whose wars are televised and judged by a stern man known as Simon. That was it. She had to get to Glen Cove. With some help from government contacts and a surprising amount of enthusiasm from the U.S. Department of Unusual Affairs, yes, it's real, Dr. Alvarez was flown into the small Nebraskan town to assist. She arrived just in time to stop a near catastrophe. Verish had misinterpreted a staged Renaissance fair outside town as a medieval uprising. Seeing armored humans with swords and lutes was the final straw. He had begun charging the ship's weapons when Mia barged in. "Wait," she shouted, holding a whiteboard and a bunch of DVDs. "It's not real. None of it is real." The Korthari turned to her, weapons buzzing, confused and tense. She took a deep breath. "You're watching fiction. Stories. Entertainment. The people you've seen on your screens? They're actors. The battles? Choreographed. John Wick isn't our leader. He's played by an actor named Keanu Reeves. He's not even that violent. He's, honestly, kind of a sweetheart." Zaire's eyes widened. "So, you do not eat nuclear waffles? Or race flaming vehicles across wastelands for water rights? No, that's Mad Max. And what of your most powerful warriors?" Verish asked. "The ones who wield vibranium and swing mighty hammers?" "Superheroes," Mia said, nodding. "They're made up too. We like telling big stories. Makes us feel hopeful." Silence followed. Then Halleck quietly said, "So your power is not destruction. It is illusion." "Yes," Mia said softly. "And imagination. You mistook our stories for strategies. We just like to dream big." The alien sat with that. A long pause. Then Kron said something unexpected. "That's worse." "Worse." Mia blinked. "Yes. Your people, you imagined yourselves as more dangerous than you are. You build entire mythologies around chaos and conquest. And you tell these stories for fun." He shivered. "Terrifying." Mia laughed. "I guess that's fair." A strange sort of peace began to settle. The Korthari realized Earth wasn't the war-scarred hellscape they feared. But now a different kind of awe set in. Humans weren't just surviving. They were thriving through culture, through absurdity, and through fearless storytelling. They made gods out of actors, turned trauma into memes, and wore capes for no reason. It was baffling, beautiful, and deeply unsettling. Back aboard the Korthari mothership, the Council was less amused. "Let me understand," the Korthari high strategist said during a transmission. "You are telling me the species of Earth pretends to be more powerful than they are, broadcasts these illusions, and then laughs about it." Verish nodded solemnly. "Yes, Supreme Strategist. Their power lies not in weaponry, but in the ability to convince the galaxy they are already invincible." A long silence. "Do we initiate bombardment?" "No," Verish replied. "Initiate negotiations." Back on Earth, Mia had another idea. With the help of a few Hollywood producers and a few mischievous Redditors, they staged a global council summit in an empty studio lot. They used actors dressed as world leaders, fake alien language dubbed in post, and highly choreographed debates over space treaties, mostly improvised by stand-up comedians. They streamed it directly into Korthari channels. The result? Panic. Alien analysts across the galaxy began publishing urgent reports. Earth has initiated galactic diplomacy using sarcasm-based negotiations. Their leaders have weaponized irony. We are unprepared. The one known as Trevor Noah may be a High Chancellor. By the time the next Korthari warship arrived to relieve Verish's team, Earth was being reclassified, not as a target, but as a level Omega unpredictable cultural entity. Let me know when you're ready for Section 4, when curiosity meets reality. Absolutely. Here's Section 4, when curiosity meets reality, with a minimum of 700 words. ## Section 4, when curiosity meets reality. The galactic community had long feared the emergence of a truly unpredictable civilization, one capable not just of military force, but of cultural dominance. After the Korthari debacle on Earth, that fear was no longer theoretical. The species that had once been cataloged as primitive, overly emotional, and self-destructive was now considered the most dangerously imaginative force in the galaxy. And the humans had absolutely no idea. At least not all of them. Dr. Mia Alvarez, now working as a civilian liaison for the Earth Extraterrestrial Communication Initiative, ECI, had been tasked with easing the growing panic among alien observers. Every day, she received signals from different corners of the galaxy, panicked questions about the Witcher guilds, the Jedi alliances, and the growing influence of the Kardashian matriarchy. Each message was more absurd than the last. Mia found herself explaining to a 12-tentacled diplomat from the Zraka system that Kanye West was not, in fact, Earth's Minister of Planetary Rhythm. She assured a robotic hive mind that the Hunger Games was not a mandatory youth-culling ritual. And she very gently told a delegation of scholars from the Thrall Confederacy that the Minions were not an actual subservient race, but animated characters from a children's film series. The real problem, Mia realized, wasn't that aliens thought Earth was dangerous. It's that they wanted in. Across dozens of systems, imitation began. Korthari adolescents started dressing like Hogwarts students, carrying carved sticks and yelling spells. Trade routes were disrupted as young warriors from the Trollocs Empire formed fast and furious style street gangs, complete with muscle cruisers and makeshift family honor codes. One particularly dedicated species of mantis-like creatures had developed an entire religion around Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And then came the visit. The Galactic Council, now wary of sending warships, chose instead to send an official delegation. Not to warn Earth, not to threaten it, but to learn. Aboard a sleek vessel with trans-dimensional cloaking and a translation AI powered by emotional resonance, the Council landed discreetly in Los Angeles. After extensive debate, they concluded this was the planet's true cultural capital, home of the oracles Spielberg, Tarantino, and Beyoncé. Naturally, nobody batted an eye when aliens showed up on Sunset Boulevard. A few people took selfies, assuming it was a movie shoot. The delegation was greeted by Mia and a hastily assembled team of diplomats, scientists, and screenwriters. Yes, screenwriters. Because at this point, Earth's greatest export wasn't technology or military strength. It was narrative power. The Council's spokesperson, a crystalline being named Venear, spoke in resonating harmonic tones that made nearby pigeons explode. Fortunately, the translators kept it simple. We're Quest Education. We wish to understand your weapons of story. Teach us. Marvel. Explain to us. Pixar. And what is the meaning of Shrek? Mia led them through lectures, screenings, and live performances. They visited Comic-Con. They toured theme parks. They attended a TED Talk about memes. The aliens were deeply moved by a high school production of Hamilton, despite not understanding what a cabinet battle was. One Threllian noble wept openly at the ending of Coco. Another asked if the Matrix was real and, upon being told probably not, nodded solemnly and replied, exactly what a simulation would say. But as the aliens immersed themselves in Earth's chaotic brilliance, a strange thing began to happen. They started sharing back. One of the Korthari brought a holographic epic from their homeworld, a tale of twin sunborn lovers who united rival empires through a 1,000-year chess game. The humans were riveted. Another species, the Isari, showed humans their form of abstract art theater. Three-dimensional songs that could only be heard while crying. It was a hit at Burning Man. Slowly, collaboration began. Earth writers partnered with alien historians. Filmmakers swapped techniques. Interstellar TikTok became a thing, mostly involving zero-gravity dance trends and multilingual reaction videos. And so, Earth's relationship with the cosmos evolved not through conquest, colonization, or war, but through memes, music, and a mutual appreciation for over-the-top storytelling. By the end of the year, the Galactic Council passed a unanimous decree. Earth shall be granted protected status. Not as a military threat, nor as a backward species, but as a cultural nexus. The humans shall be recognized not for their weapons, but for their wondrous ability to imagine better ones. Of course, this didn't stop Earth from being Earth. Some humans tried to trademark First Contact as a reality show. Others started conspiracy podcasts about how Keanu Reeves might actually be a time-traveling peace envoy. A YouTube channel called Alien Reacts to Earth Cringe reached 100 million subscribers. But maybe that was okay. Because in the end, the galaxy didn't fear Earth anymore. They didn't want to destroy it. They wanted to collaborate with it. They wanted to dream with it. And the humans, flawed, chaotic, weird, and wonderful, were more than happy to share their greatest weapon: imagination. Would you like a title card, summary, or to turn this into a formatted PDF or ebook style file.